I think the number one failure and the number one attribute of a great leader is self-awareness. They're passionate about this certain thing, so they become world class at their craft, but they forget to become world class in who they are. If you want to hire people that aren't better than you, you're never going to grow. Money is important, but it will not buy you legacy. It will not buy you happiness, and it'll help you make it easier, like things easier. But to me, the legacy is the building of people.
We are about to embark on an immersive journey through the corridors of our minds. Stand by as we prepare for departure.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to the Productivity with Peace of Mind podcast adventure. Our journey will begin in just a moment. Inhale deeply and exhale. Our voyage takes us on a captivating tour, diving deep into the intricate layers of our thoughts and imagination. Brace yourselves for the complexities of our evolution. For a safe and enjoyable journey, stay seated. Secure your helmet and protective goggles, and keep hands, feet, and legs inside while the ride is moving. Now relax and enjoy.
What if I told you that it's not even possible to be or become a great leader without the integration of every other part of us, personally, spiritually, emotionally? Every little bit of us is involved and connected to each other, and it's virtually impossible to access one part of us without the other. And experience one part of us without then affecting or noticing a change in another. Today's guest is an incredibly special guest, one of my greatest teachers, someone I learned from and stood beside for many years and learned so much from. So much of my foundational business and personal development knowledge and awareness and wisdom all stems from this human being. And so I am so excited for you to hear firsthand from him and learn from him some of the things that we have learned together over the years, some of the things that he has taught me, and the things that he's learned over the years. So without further ado, let's go to the conversation. Today we have with us Tommy Breedlove, who is an author, a speaker, a coach. His book is on the Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling lists. And his focus has been really on building these communities where men and women can come together and truly evolve into the best version of themselves, not just professionally, not just personally, but bridging all of that together. So, Tommy, I am so excited you are here today.
So let me start by giving credit where credit's due. Legendary would not exist without Lindsay. I don't know if you believe that or not, but Lindsay is mentioned multiple times in the book. She's credited in the back of the book for being a huge part of it. I remember spending hours and hours and hours on the phone while she recorded, asked me questions, typed, helped me edit. She's lived it. She's breathed it. Legendary, the book wouldn't exist. Legendary, the company wouldn't exist. And I would not exist without the help of Lindsay, without her talent, without her grace. And there's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't have a whole lot of gratitude and love for Lindsay. So none of this would exist without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Fully received. That's so appreciated. And it was such an honor to just, be a part of that with you and build something that has such an impact. And to this day, when people ask about it or I talk about it, like that's what I talk about is the impact that we got to make, the difference in people's lives, not just in their own lives, but the lives that, reflectively go through every other person that they touch.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember you and I, and it's what I love about you and I as well is we've done a lot of life together as well. We spent years and years and years together from moves to transition out of major relationships. I remember whiteboarding when I had too much wine at 2 o'clock in the morning in future life. And
Yeah.
my wife Heather coming down, I was like, "Are you two going to go to bed? And what are you doing? Like, what life are you planning here?" And I just remember we've done a lot of business and life together. And I think what I love about you, Lindsay, is you do your best to show up and be the best version of yourself every day, knowing that we're perfectly imperfect and we're flawsome, as you and I have learned from other people. But we show up and we give it our best. And some days we're better than others. So thank you for being you as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Well, and now that I've started this podcast, it's productivity with peace of mind. So it's this balance between like how do we get things done? How do we still crush it and build what we want to build while still feeling good? And so I'm
Yeah.
curious what you think as far as like as a leader and as leaders, like how like what makes us productive, like truly productive, not like what looks productive on the outside.
Yeah, I think for me, and this is, I think the definition of leadership, I think the number one failure and the number one attribute of a great leader is self-awareness. And so when you talk about a productive leader, first of all, they have to know their unknown potential. They have to know their blind spots. They have to know their weaknesses. They need to know what they're good at and not good at. And I believe every leader, when their ego is in charge, that's where things go awry. And I've done it all the wrong ways and worked my butt off on doing it the right ways. And I think it starts with self-awareness. And I think that's one of the things we do at Legendary is hopefully help people who want to be helped to become the best version of themselves, become the best leader so that they can go from ignorance to awareness. And you and I both know once you become aware of something you could be doing better or a better way of life, you either do it or you don't do it. And then that leads, you take action into transformation. Then you do the 1,000 reps and become a master at your craft. And then to me, the true definition of a productive leader is teaching it to others.
Mm,
And I think a productive leader knows what they can and cannot do. I think a productive leader wants their people that they hire to buy back their time, but they also hire people who they think are better than them at their particular tasks.
mm,
And so I think that's a huge part of it. I think most people go into business with a passion. They're passionate about this certain thing. So they become world class at their craft, but they forget to become world class in who they are. And I
mm,
think you have to have both. And I think they're both very difficult. And I think all of those things from confidence to self-awareness to knowing thyself, I think that's the key to a productive leader. And I think a lot of us struggle with control as well, right? We're trying to control everything because we think we can do it better than everyone else. And the truth is we can't. And I think lifting others up, I think the definition of leadership is, and leading from the front, right? Walking the walk and not just talking the talk, and knowing that every single day you might do it wrong, but hopefully you'll do it better the next day and learn from all your mistakes. So that's what I would say is the definition of a productive leader. And I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and I think this idea of like control is so relevant for so many people because we think if we can control something, then it creates this like false sense of safety, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm in charge, I can control the outcome, I won't be harmed. But in reality, I mean, there's so little we're actually in control of outside of ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. And really our choices, right?
Mhm.
Because even with our health, I mean, I heard this the other day, and I can't remember who taught it to me, or I'd give the credit right now. I will remember here in a second because it was a celebrity, and I thought it was a really interesting person that was I think it was Eddie Murphy, which is interesting. I think
Oh.
I heard this from Eddie Murphy. And if you think about it, we talk about control and your choices,
Yeah.
but your life is really, you're not even really in control of that. If the average man has 75 years, that's average. Average woman, somewhere 77, 78. Now, take your age and minus that, that's how many summers you have left. That's how many
Mm.
winters you have left. And, we hope that we have that. We hope we have many more, but really the choice and knowing you have a choice and doing your best to choose the next right thing and to choose the growth and to choose the love and not the fear, and knowing that even yourself, your health, your spiritual, all that stuff can be taken away from you like that. I think it's humbling, but I think it's also inspiring, right? And so I went on a tangent there, but I felt that was profound that, we choose to do all the things and knowing that it could go away tomorrow. And there's a million people in the hospital right now dying for the opportunity that you and I have. I mean, what would they give to be on a podcast, hopefully helping ourselves and helping other people grow? I mean, there's millions of them out there. So kudos to that as well.
Absolutely. Another thing you mentioned too that I really liked is like finding people who can do it better than you.
Yeah.
And that's something I learned from you too during our time together is like building a community, not just in a business that like, is consuming what you're offering in a business, but like your team as well, like internally and building that and like the communication that goes into that. Like it's just amazing what like how I was able to grow as a person because of that. So I don't know if you want to talk about that piece a little bit more.
Yeah. And this is a learning, evolving thing. And I think what the best leaders, and there's all these cliches out there about servant leadership, but it's so damn true. If you want to hire people that aren't better than you, you're never going to grow.
Hmm.
And you know this, Lindsay, I don't have children. And so my legacy is going to be in how I make people feel, how this business is part of my legacy. Legendary is certainly the book is part of my legacy. But my legacy is I want people that are better than me to surpass me, to take this over, to be the next leaders of Legendary. We have an incredible business leader named Sean at our Mountaintop Lodge, our hotel in the North Georgia mountains. We have an incredible leader I've just watched this woman evolve over the last 3 years and really find the advantage in herself in all of her adversities, Erica. And I hope part of my legacy is they not only I believe they are better than me. I do believe that Erica is a better speaker than me. Now she doesn't have as many reps as I do. She doesn't have the seasons that I have. She doesn't have the gray hairs that I have, but she will. But I do believe she will be a better motivator. I do believe she will be a better leader. And I do believe she is, and this is not self-deprecating, a better human being than I can. And I hope one day to turn and have 1,000 Ericas and 1,000 Seans. And we have, at Legendary now, we have 6 or 7 people on the team, and at the Mountaintop, I think we have 17 total between the two companies. But every single person that's here, we see their talent, we see their goodness, we see also their struggles. And if you don't want to lift them up, why are you doing it anyway? Is it all about you? And you and I both know that money is important, but it will not buy you legacy. It will not buy you happiness, and it'll help you make it easier, like things easier. But to me, the legacy is the building of people. To me, the legacy is the seeds that we plant today and the trees that we won't see tomorrow. And there's great parables there where the gentleman is planting a orchard that he will never see. He goes, but thousands of generations will taste the fruit of this orchard. That's what I think great leadership is, and servant leadership is really surrounding yourself with the best and brightest. And you know that we say this all the time, Lindsay, and you've probably like, oh God, here he goes. But show me the 5 people you spend the most time with and your habits, and I'll tell you your future, correct? Well, here at Legendary, this is not a business, it's a lifestyle. And the people that come here either make it or they don't, and quickly. And they know really quickly, like, and we want it to be a part of their lifestyle. We want it to be a part of who they are. We want constant personal growth. We want people who want to be challenged. We want people who want to connect with others. We want people who want to conquer their goals. And so, for me, Legendary is a lifestyle. It is the legacy, and I do believe it with all my heart. And it's up to them to prove it. It's up to them to go get it. It's up to them to do it. I can't do it for them, but I do believe 2 people for sure. There's Annie, right, by the way, and Lindsay helped me raise. I have all of my dogs here, so this is a live
Aw.
podcast. But that was Annie that's barking at someone out in their car right now. But yeah, I'll stop there, and hopefully you heard Annie bark.
Well, and with building your team and like doing all those things to make sure that they are fulfilled and they're in the right seats and they're challenged in all the right ways, like that is exactly what builds a team that wants to stay and grow with you and actually like take over that business. Like when you talk about wanting it to live far beyond you, that's exactly what makes that happen.
Yeah, and I don't know if we were doing this while we were here. There's Annie right there. I don't know if you see kind of some of her, but there she is right there. And here's some of the things that we've implemented, and I can't remember if this was a part when you were a part of us. We every morning, the first thing we do at 9 a.m. is we learn. And we learn in two different ways. We learn from one of our mentors, and then we read some of our writings. That's the first thing we do. And the second thing we do is we talk about how we're going to win the day. Like, what is our goal? We have all these goals and things that we want to accomplish, and people we want to touch. How are we going to win the day? And the third thing we do every single day is gratitudes. And then on Friday, we've implemented a team celebration. We've put our core values everywhere now. They're all over this office. We celebrate each other. We celebrate our wins for the week, what we've done right for the week. We celebrate who has exuded our core values, why they've exuded our core values. And I think not only is it instrumental in our vision, our mission, our purpose is non-negotiable, and it's not for everybody, right? It's just not, and that's okay. We want people to go find what is for them.
Yeah.
But what happens is people either self-select out or they go all in on this vision, on this mission, on the core values. And you know this, Lindsay. I've written a book. I have core values. I have a purpose, and I have a mission and vision that I will never live up to. But damn, I'm going to do my best to get there. Everything we do is aspirational. Know that some days we're going to win, some days we're going to lose. But if it becomes a part of who we are and we have each other's back, and you've heard me say this too. I don't want us to be a family. I want us to be a world-class team that we choose to be on, that we choose to be better on, that we choose
Mhm.
to move forward together. You and I both know family has its complications and, and we can't choose them, but we can choose where we work and hopefully who we're friends with and hopefully who our romantic partners are, but we can't choose our family. So we want it to be a world-class team that people choose to be on it. So I think that's important as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of your book, Legendary, like that's like I remember the evolution of that process. And
Remember when it was called Pawn to King?
I do, yeah,
What
that's
a
what I
what
was
an
just thinking
awful
about.
title. It's my Game of Thrones days.
It's all gonna start somewhere, right? But like, when we came up with the term legendary, like that's a big word and it can be perceived in so many ways. And I'd
Yeah.
love for you to talk about what that means for you and like for those listening, like how can we define what that means for us?
We can't really. And here's what I love about the word legendary is it's given to us by others. Now, I'll tell you what it means to me, but I don't think we give it to ourselves. If I were there was a time I was an arrogant, insecure, what I'll call man, which is actually just insecure little boy who thought he was legendary, and the world, my friends in the universe said, "Hey, you know what? You are not that, my man." So there's some humility to it. But to me now, legendary is aspirational. And we can think of so many human beings who are legendary for all the right reasons or all the wrong reasons. And to me, it's giving to us by our friends, our community, the people we touch, organizations, society. And it's an aspirational thing that, God willing, not just be legendary in what we do. There's been a lot of world class people who made a difference in what they do, but they were not world class in who they were.
Hmm.
And the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, at the very end of his life, worked really hard at becoming world class in who he was because, he built one of the greatest, most iconic brands of all time. He was elite as a marketer and elite as an innovator, but he would be the first to tell you that he was not elite in human relationships. And that was one of his regrets. And think about how he's touched all of our lives. And so for me, legendary, first of all, is about living a life of purpose, serving, using your God-given talents to hopefully make yourself and this world a better place. To me, it's about freedom. It's about doing what you want with who you want when you want to do it. To me, it's about not letting people who don't matter. And that to me is leading with love. It's setting a standard and holding that standard. To me, it's about doing your best to be emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically strong and knowing that it's not if life happens, when life happens, you can walk through that storm. To me, it's about when you come to the end of the journey, hopefully you'll have a heart full of gratitude and no regrets. And we've all made, God, I've made so many very, very, very large mistakes, integrity breaches, things I wish I would have done better. And honestly, I can say now, I don't. And when people say honestly, I say I tune out, but I don't regret any of it because it's the man I was is not the man who I am. The mistakes I've made in the past, most of which I wouldn't make again. And I'm going to make some big mistakes and I'm going to hurt people going forward, hopefully unintentionally, hopefully non-maliciously. But I think it's setting a standard and holding the standard. I think it's living with purpose and mission as best you can. I think it's constant growth. And to me, if I do all those things, and I influence what I can influence and let the rest go. To me, I hope at the end of the day, if somebody says, you know what, that person lived a legendary life, and for most of us, no one's going to read our damn resumes when we leave. They're going to talk about how you made them feel and what you did, and God willing, I will. That's to me legendary, and it's given to us. So again, we've written a book that we hope to live up to. We'll never live up to, but hopefully 7 steps forward and one back, as opposed to in the past nine backwards and one forward. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and that integration is another piece that I feel like really became part of my foundation because of our time together and our work together is like how do you bridge that personal and the professional, right? Like it's not separate. They teach you that it's separate. Like they try to tell you like check it at the door, right? Like
yeah,
don't,
good luck.
right? But it's all connected and like you've taught me like when you're better personally, you just automatically are better professionally. When you're better professionally, you're automatically better personally. Like it reminds me of those like, string games you play as a kid where like one goes and then they're all pull and it's
Yeah,
it's 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 all touching regardless.
yeah. And it's a stew, right? You start taking
Mhm.
ingredients out of the stew, and it doesn't taste as good, and you're just never going to have it figured out. It's never going to be balanced. And I have to remind myself on a daily basis is lighten up and enjoy the ride and finding the advantage in the adversities, like I was talking about with Erica. And it's impossible to have your personal life just in shambles and you go be elite at work. Or maybe there are people out there who can do it. I haven't seen it, but maybe it's there, or vice versa. And really, you want to show up and do your best in all phases of life. You want to show up and honor the things. But yeah, it can't be separate when you're spending a huge percentage, and depending on who you're at, 17 to 30% of your life at your profession. That's a significant percentage, and it's important, and it is personal. When people say, "Oh, it's business, it's not personal,"
Yeah.
bullshit, man. It is personal because I'm
Yeah.
spending my time and my energy and my talents to help all of us in this thing grow to be better. So it is personal. And then our personal lives, there's so much. There's other human beings. There's our own idiosyncrasies. There's our own fears and insecurities. And so again, back to self-awareness is doing the best and and knowing that when you fail or you mess up or you have an integrity breach or you say something you regret, either personally or professionally, you own it and move forward. And you've seen this firsthand is my wife and I are business partners. And whoo, when we were off, did we bring it into the work? 100% we did we not, Lindsay? And then like
Yeah.
everybody's like,
How could you
oh shit,
not?
the Breedloves are not good. We've gotten a little bit better at that. But you're gonna bring it in and vice versa, right? You're gonna
Yeah.
bring it in. And I watched the evolution and your story is yours to tell, but I watched you set a standard and hold boundaries with someone that we both loved and say no more. No more will I be treated like this, and no more will I accept this. And I think in our own way, and I'll say it in my language, and we both hope that human being finds peace and presence and love and some things for herself. And we were in that process together, and we walked these lives personally together. And there was parts of your life that I heard you say, no more, no more will I show up this way, no more will I accept this. And it was really Lindsay's one of my heroes, and I don't say that to BS. I'm not in the BS business, and I'm a pretty intense human being, as Lindsay will attest to. But you're one of my heroes for accepting who you were, what you overcome as a young woman, what you said no more to. You're constantly rising up. You've turned all of your pain into triumph, and I'm sure there's still some things to work out with. And we've had a lot of
Always.
laughs, we've had a lot of cries, but I mean, you're one of my heroes because I watched you walk it for years and years and years, and I've watched you just continue to evolve and to continue to grow, you personally and you professionally. And I hope one day I see your book on the bookshelves, and I'll just say that as well. That's your journey and your story to tell, but from a distance, watching you level up in real time, and then from a distance, personally and professionally, has been one of the most rewarding things for me. But and you were here from the beginning. You were employee number one, and so and colleague number one, and human number one. And you're and I told right before this podcast, we were hosting the legendary community call, and I told everybody whose podcast I was going on, and they were all clapping. And
Oh.
so Mandy Morris, Matt Potts, Alex Gurovich, there's a lot of people on that call. Erica, they were like, "Oh, that's a big hell yes." So kudos to you, Lindsay.
Oh, thank you so much. That just means so much to me. Like, I mean, you was like one of my greatest teachers in my life and just greatest, friends, guides, all of it. I've just so much of my learning and my foundation now that I have personally and in business is because of you. And I mean, your name comes up all the time still, whether it's, working with clients or working in my HR, corporate career, like your name comes up all, like I feel like everybody knows who you are because I'm like, this is what I learned from Tommy, because that's where it comes from. And I think to to be a part of that is such a gift. And I think one of the most important things too that I took away, and you mentioned this earlier, but it's like leading from the front, right? Like you have to lead yourself before you lead anybody else. And I coach all of our general managers on that now, right? Like it's infused in everything I do, but I think everybody can benefit from understanding that if you don't start from yourself, because this is our body, like we're in this human body, we're in our brain, we're experiencing our emotions, like we don't get to, it's that integration. We don't get to separate ourselves and like compartmentalize our heart and our brain and our spirit.
Yeah, can't do
It's
it.
it's all connected.
Yeah. Yeah, couldn't agree more. And moment of truth, I do want to say this too. I'm claiming this. I think this is true. Is I taught Lindsay how to swim. Let's just take that to the bank. Yeah, I'm gonna just take that to the bank as well.
Yes.
It's something I did as a young man, and now I'm doing it as an older man. One of the things, that I love about the work that I do, and probably the work that you do now, and with this podcast, is I get to talk in the mirror all day. And you're so it's the most selfless thing that we could do is prioritizing ourselves and not the most selfish. And so many teachers and religions and they tell you the exact opposite. But man, you see it over my in the sign over my head, and we've talked about this, and this: participate in your own rescue.
Yeah.
And it starts with you. You can't lead, love, and respect others unless you lead, love, and respect yourself. And literally 2 years ago, and I do this for a living, and I've got the biggest keynote of my life and the highest paid and the biggest audience. And I don't believe in writing with ChatGPT to this day. I think words matter, and I think creativity matters, and it's very useful, by the way. But I'd rather have soul than not soul.
Mhm.
But Lindsay, I 2 years ago, I had to get on stage and saying, I'm about to give a keynote to you people, and I'm not doing any of this right now. This is my opportunity to remind myself of how important this work is. This is an opportunity for me to lead from the front and tell you that everything I'm about to say is something I want to start beginning again. And I let the business get in front of me. I let the goals get in front of me. I let my ego get in front of me. And everything around me again was somewhat here. It wasn't burning like I've burned down Rome a couple times. It wasn't quite fire yet, but man, it was, there were some matches being lit. And I was like, okay, at least I recognize it. And
Yes.
thank you for the opportunity for me to speak on it. And let me be clear, I'm going to, here's my accountability to the whole audience. And they loved it. And to this day, it
Mhm.
was probably the best talk, paid talk that I ever did, was because I was just, hey, man, I got a confession to make. Here I am, and you're paying me to be here, and I am sucking right now. And I'm going to use this platform to say what I'm going to remind myself, and hopefully you can take it away too. And I think it was a special moment. So even to this day, I love that I get to talk in the mirror every day and to work on it and to be aware of it and have people hold me accountable to it, et cetera. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you as well.
Yeah, I love it because that is so much more helpful than being like, "Hey, I got this all figured out. I got it all
Yeah.
together." Like nobody's there, right? But people pretend. People pretend and
Insta fabulous. That's why they call it Insta scam.
oh, I love that. Oh, it's so good. Yeah,
And
because
if
like
you look on our Instagram, I don't, I do my best. Now, I'm not saying I'm 100% on this. I do my best to never look at the damn thing because I'll go down those rabbit holes
yeah.
forever. I'll get sucked right in like a vortex.
Mm.
But we do put a lot of that out there, and there's a lot of that out, but I think the world is craving authenticity now more than ever before because of all of the social media and how it makes us feel and just general media, mass media in general. But you and I could talk ad nauseum about that. And I'm sure you've talked about to others about that too. But yeah, I do my best not to go down those rabbit holes because when I do, I really go down them. And then I start comparing myself to others and like, oh, look at that. All the things. Yeah, that's guilty as charged.
Yeah. Well, I've always loved and I love that it's continuing for you, but it's I just always loved your ability to, have that humility and have that real, raw, honest, like human presence of this is what I'm striving for, and here's all of my wisdom, because I mean, you have so much wisdom, like so much to share. And hi, I'm here in a human body still, and I'm still figuring this out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And Lindsay, as you've grown and experienced, and this is not what it's like. You're not looking at a guy that has it all figured out. I'm working on it really hard. But what I've noticed too, and this is going the other way, in it would shock you if I said this name, but I'm not going to. But you could figure it out.
Mhm.
But we've had some success in this arena. We've had a lot of failures in this arena. We've had stagnations. We've won a lot. We've lost a lot. But we're constantly striving to make a difference and make an impact and to employ wonderful people and to make a difference. And along this journey, what we thought were the best of our friends, our biggest supporters, have for reasons that some of them I just simply don't know. And maybe it's something I've done or something I've said and I've worked on it, but we've had people run out of our lives and I don't know for what reason. And I've learned that as you go, people are it's like a tree. I've heard this analogy recently. There's the roots and those people will be with you for earth, and then there's the trunk that'll be with you quite a bit of time, and there's the leaves that fall off during the seasons.
Mhm.
And as the seasons have gone by and as we've aged or we've had some success or they've had some success or we've grown or our message has become offensive, I don't know what it is, or I've said something or they've perceived something. No matter how hard or how people you think love you, they've always got their self-interest. Sometimes your friends are truly enemies in the making. And I've learned I'm doing much better at not taking it so damn personal.
Yeah.
And I think that helps. It's not that I don't care. It's not that I wish I knew why they ran out of our lives or out of legendary, and they have. But all we can do is the next right thing. All we can do is show up authentically, like you and I were just talking about. All we can talk about how it hurt, but we got a job to do. We have impact to make. We can only control what we choose to do going forward. And it's been an interesting journey from friendships to network to colleagues to, we've had people grow. You're one of the folks who grow and you set sail. You remember Christy, who's now called Cam. She grew and set sail, and that we root for. But there's going to be people who just don't like you, or they used to
Yeah.
like you and don't like you anymore, and that's
Yeah.
okay. And that's one of the things I've learned here recently in all the hard ways. But I think it's made me a better human, a better leader, and I doing my best to not let people who don't matter matter anymore. And I would, man, you know
Mhm.
this, I would sit on that for
Yeah.
weeks. Done a lot better not sitting on that so long because I don't know how many weeks I have left, and I can't just think about what they're thinking about. I got to go forward. So I
Yeah.
think that there's just human beings that have been you and I have been involved with that have either evolved or moved on, and that's okay. That's okay. And I hope people listening know that that's okay. People change,
Yeah.
relationships change, and There's seasons, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, like our time is so precious and our energy, like we that it runs out. It's
Yeah.
not this like infinite fountain of never ending. It's but you taught me this too. Like, it be the fact that it runs out is also a gift because then we
Yeah.
get to turn back in, refocus, and think, okay, how do I want to spend my time? How do I want to, who do I want to share my energy with?
Yeah. Yeah. And your energy is so important. You can't outperform how you feel. And our number one foundation at Legendary is prioritizing the number one asset, which is you. And the three
Mhm.
subcategories of that, which are the critical ones, are your time. Every day of every second, you're giving your life for whatever choices you're making. Number two is your energy. And, there's energy suckers and there's energy givers and there's energy takers. And hopefully we're energy givers, we think, we hope. But the last one is your attention. And that's what
Mm,
I was just talking about. And your
yeah,
attention is the most intimate thing you can give someone,
yeah.
is giving them the gift of being seen, heard, valued, and loved. Your attention. I'm giving you my attention. And you have to protect and defend that. And if I'm giving my attention, and I did this for 18 months with one of these people, I'm like, hey, I'd love to know what I did or said or could apologize for. Nothing.
Yeah.
Ghost it.
Whoa.
And eventually I was like, I've got to quit giving my attention here. This is, I've done my part. And to me, your time and your energy, and we talk, you know this as good as I do. Probably teach it better than I do, but we also have to be careful of, let's not give our attention to people who don't want to take our attention. Let's give the attention to people who do, who love us, who truly want us to succeed, who, we truly want to be successful, and who are truly net givers, who want to watch us win and who want to do business in life with us. And so that's a hard lesson I've learned. Where I
Mm,
let and it's been the last year. I'm like, man, I just haven't let haters matter, and that's
oh,
been just a refreshing gift. And so here's to all of us working on that.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that just alone gives you so much time and energy back because now you have all this like space in your brain back, right? I remember you and I talked about that so many times over the years. Like, who's who's renting space or
Yeah.
using up space, like without paying for it or metaphorically, like I can't remember how you said it, but yeah, or rent, yeah, living in your head rent free
Yeah,
or
don't
something.
let people rent space in your head for free, right?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, good
That's
luck.
exactly
It's easier said than done, right? It's easier
it.
said than
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Yeah. But I've seen you do it. I've seen me do it, so it can be done. And again, there are seasons, right? And all we can do is hope the best, wish the best, and move forward, and that's what we're going to do.
yeah. I like the idea of like recognizing that we're not the target and it's just a season or people evolve or grow in different directions and it's not personal. I think that what you said makes it a lot easier too.
Yeah, and even if we are the target, are we
Hmm.
going to give that air or not give it air? Are we going to let that fire, when we give it air, the fire burns hotter? And sometimes we are the target, and
Yeah.
sometimes it is envy, sometimes it is jealousy, sometimes it is hurt. You and I both know this: pain likes pain, and a lot of people can mask their pain in a lot of different ways. And when maybe we rise above that pain and they don't, they want to inflict pain, and that's okay. And we just can't give that crazy air, and we got to just move forward. And I've seen you do that real time, multiple times. It was cool to see.
Thank you. And I want to circle back too to something you said, which is you referenced it, but I'd love to have you share like the full story of this. But the participating in our own rescue, I think is that in action, right? It's not allowing other people to drain us and
Yeah.
instead grabbing our own raft and getting it.
Yeah. Yeah. And to this day, I love this story. It's
Me
never gotten old for me. I feel like the old man who's told the same stories and they never get old to me.
too.
I, and you've heard me say this, is I was doing this river and it was really hard river. It's one of the toughest in the world, actually. And the guy's name was Guido. It's one of those river names. River people have names and hikers have names. I've learned that over the years too. and his name was Guido. And I said, "Hey, Guido, man, what do you do if you fall out the boat?" And he goes, "Hey, brother, you just got to follow the light right to heaven." I'm like, "Oh no, that's a horrible, horrible answer. I don't want to just die." And he goes, "Brother, you got to participate in your own rescue, man." And I'm like, "Wow, what a metaphor for life." And he meant you fall out of the raft, you turn over, you look for the rope. If there's no rope, you swim, head up, butt out, feet up, look for the shore and go get it. Or the alternative is, death on this particular river. I'm like, what an analogy for life, right? And
Right.
what an analogy for, and they say it on a plane every time you're on it. Put the mask on yourself before you put it on someone else. And what an analogy is, if we don't love ourselves, how can we truly love others? And loving ourselves is hard.
Mhm.
You and I both know that. You and I both come from difficult backgrounds, and we were taught that in a lot of ways that we weren't lovable. And we've spent our whole lives working hard on loving ourselves, and it shows up in so many ways.
Yeah.
And it's a lot in my world. That's really woo woo to say, but I see it act out in real time, in some of the worst ways. And I've acted it out real time. So number one, to participate in your is really truly learning to love all parts of yourself, even the dark parts that we still have. I think it's about leading ourselves. And the hardest person that you talked about, what makes a productive leader, it's leading yourself, is walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And I think you got to love, lead, and respect yourself. And to me, of those three, the loving and the leading is the hardest. The respecting is easy, but not simple. And the respecting is doing what you're saying you're going to do your best to honor your standards and core values. And when you keep your word, when you set your standards, when you honor your core values, it's super easy to respect yourself. I said it was easy, but not simple. And to me, the respecting part, you have to love first, you have to lead yourself second. And I think if you do those two, which are hard, then the respect part becomes a little bit easier. And to me, that is participating in your own rescue.
Mm. I love that. That's so well said. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah. that, that's the way I remember it. You've probably heard that story evolve, and it's, that's the way I remember it anyway.
So good every time. Well, and I think, I see this so often, but I feel like it can be so much easier to just tell people what to do or tell
Yeah.
other people what to do, right? Versus like turning it on ourselves. Like that's the hard work.
Yeah.
That's and it's not hard because the action itself is difficult, but because of the emotional weight that is on top of that.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And it's, and we can tell people what to do and tell them how they should, and I use
Yeah.
that word intentionally, live their life. And we're
Yeah.
like, and we can judge them for not doing it right. Every time I prejudge something or someone, I am dead ass wrong. And I was talking about one of my colleagues today, and I was actually talking to Heather and Erica, and I won't say the colleague. I was like, you know why I think I'm judging this particular human being? It's because I'm pretty sure that human being is me. And I'm pretty sure I do the same thing. And that's probably what makes them world class, and it's probably why I'm angry, is I'm really judging myself for the same behavior. And you and I get to talk in the mirror all day. We get to, why are you not doing this? The key, and I think when we're honest with ourselves and we're honest with others, we're giving them that gift of going second. I can't remember who taught us that, Lindsay. And I've been trying to think of who taught me that for years, and I can't remember because I read and learn so much.
Yeah.
But to be vulnerable, to be authentic, to me, that's a productive leader as well. And I am not a fan of emotionally vomiting. You don't need to you don't need to go to
There's a
work and
difference.
tell them you're having an affair with 10 people. That's your business. Go take care of your shit.
Yeah.
But being vulnerable and authentic, I have made that mistake. I don't have it figured out. I don't know the answer to that problem. And Lindsay, I might have told you this. You were with me in 2020, and there was times that I had to go in a closet and scream and cry and yell and like, "Oh, are we going to be able to get through this?" And I was honest, vulnerable, and authentic about it.
Yeah.
But then you've got to draw a line in the sand and go into optimism and say, and these are traits of productive leadership: is we've got this. We don't have the answers, but we'll figure it out together. And I think that's so refreshing. I think it's a part of leadership. I think it's a part of life. I think saying, I don't know makes a leader world class. I don't know, but let's go figure it out. And I think also, I'm going full circle and probably on a tangent here, but I think vulnerability is a huge part. Owning what we don't know, owning our mistakes, but working on them. But I think also at the end of the day, a productive leader is one who literally I'm working at thinking at the right word. It's anyway, I'll stop talking there because I lost my train of thought, but it'll come back to me. But there was something that I've discovered real time recently that I'm like, man, that is just a true leader right there. That is someone who is showing up and doing the work and walking the walk and who is optimistic, vulnerable, confident, not arrogant, but confident in what they do. They have vision, they have goals, and they set and hold the standard. But to me, all of that is productive leadership. And I lost my train of thought there, and it was going to be good. You just trust me on that.
Trust me, it's good.
Trust me on that. It was good. Now that I've forgotten it, it's real good.
Yeah. See, I had something else I was going to ask you too.
And right when we get off, I'll remember what it was. Like, damn it.
Well, we were talking about the gift of going second too before that. Was it related to that?
Maybe, maybe. But I think when you share your pain, when you share, I've made this mistake, here's what it looked like when I made the mistake. When you show that you're human, I think people are more apt to relate to you. I think they're more apt to open up to you. I think they're likely to trust you. And it just sets the example that, hey, we're all figuring it out. And that's not what I was going to say, but I think it is such a key component to leadership. I think it's such a key component to life. I think it helps make you likable. I hope you cannot water plastic plants and they grow, right? And there's so many people out there pretending, and there's so many out there that are pretending to be authentic as well. And that's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And yeah, you got to be careful of that as well. And I'm a big fan of trusting and verifying as well now, because I'm the first person that would get hurt in the past. I was the first person to trust in the past. And something else that we all need to remember is every human being on earth has their self-interest first. And our job as leaders is to figure out what their self-interest is and help them go get it. But our leaders also, I think we get so caught up in our vision, mission, and purpose. I hope that Legendary's vision, mission, and purpose fits under their vision. Like, what is their vision for life? Where do they want to go? Who do they want to be? And I hope our vision fits under theirs. And if we can do that, then we are winning professionally because they can see themselves as part of our organization as well. But that's not also what I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was. I'm having a senior moment, but it sounded good anyway.
It did. Well, and purpose is another really big word,
Yeah.
right? That can be like when you think about it, you could be like, what's my purpose for today? What's my purpose for this hour? Or what's my purpose for my entire life?
Yeah.
Right? Like what am I here for? So that's another thing. And actually, when I was thinking about when you're talking about purpose, for some reason, a memory flashed in my mind. And I think it was you, me, and Heather, and we were at a Halloween store, and there was this like giant like zombie creature, and I had made the joke because I think I took a picture of you like looking at the zombie, and I was like, there's Tommy asking the, Halloween creature, like, what is your purpose? And but it's important and I think having purpose in our life or purpose to what we're doing and really it kind of for me it goes back to intention,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
knowing what we're doing and why.
Yeah.
How do we start to distill that down so that we can feel more intentional and kind of have that sense of purpose in our lives and in business?
To me, it's like describing love, right?
Mm.
Or it's like describing how something feels. I have a real difficult, when I've been in a lot of therapy and coaches in my life, and they're like, "Well, how do you feel?" And I had such a hard time describing it. And I think
Yeah.
this is hard. And I think so many people distill it down into one or two or three things. And I love what you said, intention. To me, purpose, there is no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There's no pass or fail. It's soul
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it comes from the soul and it comes from so many different things. And you and I both know that purpose, we look for like, I've got to get it right. I've got to know
Yeah.
my purpose.
Yeah.
To me, your purpose starts with your dreams, and you use the word intentions. To me, your dreams, your goals, your intentions, who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? How do you want to live? How do you want to serve? And to me, you and I both believe that purpose is about serving.
Yeah.
And I know so many moms who their purpose is their children, and when their children leave, there's a sense of depression because their purpose has gone away. And then I'm like, okay, now it's just time to go find the new one. And I
Yeah.
work in a veteran space a good bit now, and when they don't have a mission and purpose, it can end in tragedy because they've seen the worst of the worst. And so part of what I think our work is to do is to help people dream again and tell them it's okay to dream. I think there's so many parts of society saying it's not okay to dream. Well, F you. Yeah, it is. It's okay to dream. Luckily, I did not say that, so that's good. I've only dropped a couple of cuss words. I'm proud of myself. But to me, it's about your dreams. It's about your hopes. It's about how you want to serve, how do you make an impact, and how to build a legacy. And so many people don't, and they wonder why they're here, and they spend their lives in fantasy world of TV and movies, which all that stuff is fun, right? That, sometimes just watching a funny movie is soulful, but to this life is so much more. It's about serving and growing and living and losing, and you can't have love without pain, right? I mean, we've all had heartaches, we've all had our heart broken, we've all lost humans that we love in so many different ways. But to me, purpose is soulful. And if you want to feel and you want soulful, then figure out how to go take what you're good at and go make others better, make yourself better. And I think that is the rewards and fruit of life. I think finding love in life, giving love in life, serving purpose, and knowing that purpose, there's no right, wrong, good or bad, pass, fail, that while we're here on this very, very short amount of time that we're here, we're really specks of sand in a massive universe. But man, even a raindrop will become an ocean, and you can really, really make a difference if you do your best to find soulful purpose and how you can serve and really go do that. And that's even when my personal life is burning down or I'm questioning everything. If I get out of my ego and make it about serving or making a difference, and serving one day could be getting out of bed and putting on my pants. I mean, that's could be enough, right? Because you're having
Mhm.
that bad of a time. Or it could be about just smiling when someone's down,
Mm.
or it could be something massive and everything in between. I think we worry about like I need to
Yeah.
solve cure cancer and the Middle East and stop war and make everything equal. That's hard. That's the MLK stuff. That's legendary.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's truly legendary. But all of us can make some tiny difference in someone's and our own lives every single day. We just got to remember to do it.
Yeah. And they add up.
Yeah. And purposeful work pays dividends not only monetarily, but in happiness, in efficiency, in servitude, in making a difference, and fulfillment. And I think so many of us are seeking fulfillment in all the wrong places. I mean, I've tried it all,
Mhm.
all the wrong places
Yep.
and never worked. But when I've made it about goodness and love and servitude and not my ego, not my status, and that's always a tricky balance, right? Of fighting my ego and wanting to be, hey, see me, see me, see me. But when I'm out there just making a damn difference for myself and others, it truly, at the end of the day, you do sleep better, which is amazing. Is when you choose all the wrong things, you don't sleep better. So
Hmm. Yeah.
tried it
Well,
all.
like,
Really.
I can vouch.
Yeah,
Like,
really. I've tried it all. I'm like, man, that was just a terrible idea.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it just speaks to the humanness of wanting to fill our desires, right? And not always knowing.
Or just want to feel in general, right? Just want to
Right.
feel something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Or
And
not feel. Oof, that's even stewier, right?
oh yeah.
It's even a little stewier.
Mhm. I
Let
like
me
that
just
word.
numb that out because that'll be a great idea.
Mhm. Well, and so your example about having that speech and going in and being like, yeah, I'm not burning down Rome right now, but I've maybe lit a couple matches and
Yeah, I'm right there at it.
that ability to like check in. I think for me that's been one of my biggest lessons recently is like the regular check-ins of you talk about how do things feel is like asking yourself, how does this feel? How am I feeling? Where am I at? And asking those questions and not just, you know, yes, the gratitude, yes, the journaling, and then the next step is like, okay, and how do I feel about where I'm at right now? And like where I'm using my energy, where I'm spending my time, who I'm investing in, what I'm investing in.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And in my life, it always, always, always starts with anger. Grew up very angry for all the right reasons and all the wrong reasons. And my first telltale for me is, are you angry?
Mm,
And most of the time when I'm angry because I'm not living up to my potential or the expectations I've set for myself. Or I've had small or big integrity breaches in my core values. And my job is to check in on that anger. My job is to talk to the people I know, love, and trust, and who I think know, love, and trust me about, hey, I'm angry, and I think I'm angry at myself.
hmm
And I've finally been able to recognize when that's happening quickly and, God willing, do something about it or ask for help. And, you know, our space, some people frown upon that. I think probably the most rewarding and worst job in the world is to be a religious leader, whatever religion you choose,
Yeah.
because no matter what you do, you're held to an unreasonable standard.
hmm
And I think with myself and some of the others that I know, that I hold myself to an unreasonable standard, and others have held me to an unreasonable standard. Others
Yeah.
have thrown my book in my face, if you can
I
believe it.
remember.
Yeah, yeah. That person came back, by the way, and then left
Oh,
again.
oh,
And
interesting.
then when he left again, he really took a lot of people with him. And I was like, whoo,
Wow.
man, yeah, I can hold my head up on this one. But for me, knowing when I'm angry and where I get dangerous, and we all have our own thing, is when that anger turns to rage, is when I'm just not a good human.
Yeah.
But catching that early, catching that self-awareness early, talking to people who love you and are like, okay, where's this coming from? Where are you not showing up for yourself? What is hurting you right now? I think that's been a game changer for me, is knowing it starts there most of the time. It's either anger or sadness, and sadness I can pinpoint pretty quickly.
Mm,
But the anger one for me has been the telltale, and the one that I don't, and my go-to is to isolate. And luckily, because of the work I do and the people that I've surrounded myself with and the work that we do, they can call me out on my BS pretty quickly. Oh, you're isolating and you're angry and you're an ass. Okay, Tommy, where are you not showing up? And I'm like, oh, touche, my friends.
mhm,
So yeah, I think it's important. I read a long time ago the definition of a great friend. I hope this is okay to say. The definition of a great friend is the person who tells you you're an asshole when you're being an asshole. I have surrounded myself with those humans and am very proud of it.
hmm Yeah. I love when someone calls me out like these days. I don't know if I was always that way, but like, it's because I see it for what it is. Like they wouldn't it's not comfortable to say that to somebody. So the fact that they're saying it means that they want to help you.
Yep.
It's like when something's in your teeth, you're like, oh, there's like spinach in your like no one wants to say that, but a good friend will
I
tell
need to
you.
know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me I'm picking my nose on a live podcast, please, so that I can stop. And I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I know you're going to interview this person, and she's going to interview you. You're going to be on Mary Lou Kayser's podcast, world class podcast and host, and she will be on yours. Just a fabulous human being, poet, writer, entrepreneur, inspirer. She's more seasoned in life and just keeps showing up, and just she's just an inspiration. And I didn't know I had done it because it's just my generic talk. and I was like, "Hey," I sent a mass text. Awful idea.
Mm.
Awful idea. Just to let's just call a spade a spade. It was an awful idea on my part.
Mm.
And what motivates some offends others.
Yeah.
And she found it offensive. And what I love about Mary Lou, she's a friend, she's a member of our world, and she sent me a 4 minute, you are, you have offended me, and here's why. You're better than this. I love you. Don't do that again. Text. And I was
Mm.
so grateful for it, so appreciative of it. And that's how I know as a human I've grown, because what works for some doesn't work for others.
Yeah.
And she called me out on it. And to this day, she's a dear friend. And bring that story up when you interview her. And I'm very grateful that A, she had the courage to do it. B, she had the love to do it. And
Yes.
C, I learned from it. And so kudos to Mary Lou.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it can be so easy to like internalize that and be like, oh, like I'm a bad person. It's like, no, we all have those areas of opportunity and we will forever. No, we're never gonna have it all figured out, right? You have the old analogy of the horizon. You'll never get there, right?
Swimming there, right?
We're always getting there. We never made it.
Yeah, and I think we can do one of two things when we hear information like one of three. And one is we can take it personally and think I'm a bad person, like you said. Number two is be arrogant about it, saying, "Oh,
Mm,
that's her, it's her."
yeah, yeah.
Or three, and both of those are just ego or
Yep,
shame. And then the
yep,
third one is, "Hey, I hurt her feelings. It's valid. Her feelings are valid. She's
yeah.
trying to help me, and she loves me enough to help me. She could have just quit being a friend or a member, and she chose the exact opposite. Or we can do the third option and learn from it and grow from it without the shame and without the hubris. But man, whew, that takes a lot of self work and self awareness as well. So onward and upward. I had a friend of mine. I think I told you this, Lindsay. Just speaking of swimming to the horizon, I think this guy's a judge now in Louisiana. Not, so I won't say his name because he was stoned as the bejesus in Jamaica. And he looks at me. It's like 3 in the morning, and he had smoking way too much weed in Jamaica. And he goes, "Tommy, I think I can swim to that line." And he was talking about the horizon line out in the ocean. I was like, "No, don't think you can, brother." I think
That-
that guy's a judge now.
That's
We all have
amazing.
our past.
That's
Probably
right.
makes him a better judge. Anyway,
Well, I remember an example too when there was a time you had to sit me down and you were talking to me about communicating with our team.
I got another one too for you that I remember.
Yeah, yeah. And you had told me you're coming off cold and you're actually scaring the team. I was like, but I was shocked, right? But I was so grateful. And in the moment, that's so uncomfortable. But like now, when I look back, you gave me one of the greatest gifts ever by telling me that because to this day, that helps me be a better leader and a better
Yeah.
communicator.
May I give another example of a time that I
Please.
remember?
Yeah.
And I love that we had this relationship to where, and let's be clear, you called me out on a lot of stuff too that I needed to level up and improve on and communicate better and not get in my own way. And so thank you for that. But I don't know where you are in your relationship right now, but there was a time in your life that I could tell you really liked this person. And you and I have a great gift of sometimes self-sabotaging in those wonderful occasions. And I remember us sitting on a dock, and
Yeah.
I looked at you and I'm like, "Do you like that? I feel like you like this person. Do you really like this person?" You go, "I love this person." I was like, "Well, you sure are screwing it up right now." Do you remember that?
Yes, yes. That's one of the best lines I've ever heard. Well, and you
And
started
there was
it with,
another human involved that was picking at your buttons in your defense,
yes.
and
Yep.
wanted to pick at your buttons and picking at your buttons. And so I could see, it's like a chessboard in front of me.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was,
Takes one to know one, by the way.
yeah. Yeah. And what I loved about that too is the before you said that, you're like, I can't remember how you said it, but you had asked a question, like a bridge question, right? Of like, can I give you some advice or can I share something with you that I'm observing? And I was like, yes, please tell me, right? And then when you said it, it was immediately like that wasn't even one that hurt. That was one that was like, yep, yeah, see that. Thank you. So good.
Again, takes one to know one, and been there, done that, have the scars and the lost loves to prove it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but those conversations like are what make us better. And like I
Yeah.
think that's a big misconception in the growth space, in like the self-development space is like that it's like fun and pretty and butterflies and rain. It's not. It's actually there's a lot of it that's really, really uncomfortable. And at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. Like you just have to sit with your emotions. It's just an emotion and it will pass and we will get through it. And that on the other side, we're going to be so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. And knowing that and being able to do that are, I think, some of the keys to a happy, fulfilled life. And yeah, I think that is spot on. I can't say that even better. So kudos to you. Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, we've covered so much today, and this has just been just a gift for me to just have this conversation with you, but also so valuable, so much wisdom. I love when I get to share your message with people and just share you with the world, right? And so if we could distill it down to like one thing, like if someone's like, that was a lot of information, what's the one thing that you want them to go do, remember, consider, try after listening to this? What would you say that would be?
I remember where I learned this, and I learned it with you through one of our teachers, Justin
Mhm.
Janowski. And his first leadership principle is lead with love.
Mm.
And I think it starts with leading yourself with love and learning how to love all parts of you, not in a hubris, egotistical, arrogant way, but in a humble, you've got this, you're going to be okay, I love you way. And I think leading with love is also boundaries with others and yourself. I think it's setting a standard and not negotiating that. I think leading with love is knowing when to say no. Leading with love is knowing when to say goodbye. Leading with love is knowing when to forgive yourself and others. And I think if we do our best every single day to lead with love, the tough love, the good love, the unconditional love, and the standard and boundaried love, I think we win. And I'm aspiring to live that way. Justin taught us that it's one we have spread that, made it our own, and thank you to him for teaching us that. But I think if I had to steal everything we talked about today, and I think you and I, and definitely you, probably not self-deprecating, but better than I have, we do it and we do it to the best of our ability and we own it when we don't do it. I think leading with love would be what the number one takeaway I would put the bow on this.
Thank you so much for that. And for those listening, if they want to find you, find your book, your newsletter, where do you want them to connect with you?
Lord, what I would do is just email me. I would just email me directly because we are redoing our entire tech stack as we speak.
Oh, cool.
So it's cool, but oh my gosh, time, money, energy,
Oh, yeah.
not my zone of brilliance. Oh my goodness. You can email me at tommy@livelegendary.today. If you can find the book anywhere, favorite bookstores, I'll read it to you if you're not a reader. On Audible. Lindsay, huge, 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 massive part of that book, massive part in the genesis of that book and the birth of that book. And it's just as much yours as it is the world's.
Mm.
But Tommy@livelegendary.today, you can come play with us at some of one of our experiences. You can come join our community if you're looking to be challenged, connect, and help conquer all your goals. That's the work that we do here. But email me, Tommy@livelegendary.today, and we will get back to you and we will love on you and we will point you in the right direction. And hopefully you enjoy Legendary and hopefully you'll either listen to it or read it. It meant a lot. It was 3 years of birthing. It had some terrible titles. It had some terrible chapters, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good now.
Incredible. It's so impactful. Yeah, there's so much in there that
Yeah.
can help you with wherever you're at in life.
I think you'll appreciate this. For a lot of different reasons, we're going to call it our 5 year edit. It's really going into year 6, but we're going to make some updates to it. There's some things in there that I would say differently now, that I would do differently now, and do a little bit of a rewrite, re-edit, and a re-recording. So I'm excited about that, and add to some things and take some things out and say we see things differently a little bit now, and we've evolved and grown, and here's how I see it today. So I'm excited about that when that process happens.
Oh, that's really cool. You'll have to change my last name.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And remember, we were at the end of that. One of my things that stuck in my brain, and like, this is a shame moment. I'm just going to own it. I had this wonderful thing. We had this book launch right before the world closed, and you were there. And damn if I didn't call you the wrong last name, and I did not mean to do that. But it was so fresh, so new, and I was
Yeah.
in the moment. Do you remember that? I was like, I still regret that to this day.
Yeah, yeah, no, that I
You've
don't
let it
even
go. I
think
need to
about
let it go.
that. Oh,
Don't make fun of me, Lindsay. That's my job, right?
that's right.
Anyway, so thank you. And then let me give the love back to you again. I want everybody to know that the building of our business, the book, where we are now, you were ground zero, the pillar, the foundation. There's so much love and gratitude. You were applauded today by so many people on that community call that have been with us for years and years and years. The smiles, the applause, the love. It was pretty remarkable to see that today. And thank you for having me on. Thank you for everything you've done for me. You're an inspiration to me, and I just love you more than you possibly know. And I pray for you. You're in my gratitudes on a daily basis, and I think about you. And so thank you, Lindsay, for being who you are and constantly making me better and the world better. So thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. I have so much love for you too. And I just you being on my podcast was meant so much to me. And I remember when I asked you like to be on it, I was like, do you even do podcast? Like, do you still do podcasts? Like, because but I
I would have
really
flown to Colorado if you'd asked me to.
just it was so important to me to have you on as one of my greatest teachers in my life. And just so I always joke like, my MBA degree wasn't through college, it was through Tommy. Like everything I've learned in business and development and being better to get with that integration we talked about is because of you. So thank you so much.
You're so very welcome, and I love that we learn all the things to do and all the things not to do, and
Yeah.
hopefully we all do them better ourselves. And so heard, seen. Well, I mean, you moved from Minnesota to Roswell during our tenure, Roswell, Georgia, from Minnesota to Georgia. So a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know where the Roswell is, and now
Yeah.
out to Colorado to chase your dreams. So thank you for that. Received, heard, and let's do this again sooner or later.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for braving the inside of your mind with me. The better we understand ourselves, the more deeply we understand the world, and as our awareness grows, life just gets better and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave a review and share this with anyone else you think could benefit from listening. A quick reminder that the content shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, and the discussions here are not a substitute for professional advice. If you're dealing with a specific issue or need personalized guidance, please consult with a qualified professional. Your well-being is important, and this podcast is simply a platform for sharing insights and experiences. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Until next time.